In this case, I'm going to be talking about scaling atomic design with React, which is the post that I created the previous month. And this is because when I started working with React, and if you guys have worked with React, one of the common question is how should we structure our React project? And the most common approach is to have a components folder where we have all the components, and then we have a screens or pages folder where we have all our screens. But as soon as the React project grows, this gets complex because we need to change the structure. There are some components that are not reusing all the pages, and we need to put those components only in one pages. So the structure gets complex, and a couple of some time ago, like probably 8 months or more, I heard about the atomic design. I did a little quick read on that, but I didn't spend too much time. So in the project that I'm working on in the company, we are following atomic design methodology. So I had to learn how this works. In this post, I am giving a brief explanation on how the atomic design works. However, if you are interested in the topic, which you should take a look at this post. This is a book that Brad Frost created, and he's the master in atomic design. This post or this book is in general not specific to React, but since I'm going to be talking about React, this post is really focused on the React implementation. So I wanted to have a real project where I use the atomic design, and for that I created this mini application, which is to learn some words in German. So you get the word in English, and then you have three buttons, which each of those buttons does the pronunciation. Those assets were gotten from wiki thing. I don't remember. I will post the resource in the video description in case you guys want to get the assets. And yeah, so whenever you click a button, as I mentioned before, it will sound the pronunciation. I hope you guys can hear it. But yeah, if you guys don't hate it, I will have it hosted in my Netlify account. So I will post the link as well in the video description, so you guys can play and learn with me. So let's see. We click next, and then this changes with another word, another pronunciations, and then we have a score. So we can show the scoring here, and this is a modal, so we can dismiss the modal, and that's it. So this is the functionality of the application that we created and that I created. So here I'm going to show the structure. So being said, I'm gonna give a quick explanation on how or what atomic design is. So atomic design is a methodology that you can follow to create big projects. So it's more used when you want to create a system design. So you have your system design with all the components that you need to create your pages. So this guy explains really well how this is connected, and in this case I only have one component for each category that he explains in the book, and also I do some reference in my post. So for example, let's see atoms as the minor thing or the more minimal thing that we have in our applications. This can be an anchor, a text element, a button, I don't know, an icon. Those things are the minimal things that we could have. And then we have molecules which can be composed by multiple atoms or the mix of atoms, but these are not complex things. For example, in this case, I have the button, which the button is only the representation of an HTML button and some props. These custom props are set via configuration when you are creating or using your atoms. In the case of the set, if you see, I'm using the button that I created in the atoms, and I'm just iterating over a list of items that I received as part of the configuration as well. So we don't need to be recreating the things. We just use these things based on configuration. And the last one, it's the last one for of the three base elements, which is atoms, molecules, and organisms. It's another component, which in this case is more complex. The organisms in some cases can have internal states. For example, in this case we have an state for the model, which is shown or not, so we use it here. So we use it here to either to show or hide the model, and that's how we render the model. So these are the three essential parts, as I mentioned before: the atoms, which is the minimal thing; the molecules, that can be a mix of atoms; and the organisms, that can be a mix of atoms, molecules, and it can have internal state. And after that, we create a template. So I'm going to go back to my post here, and we can call a template like the structure of our pages. So if we have used Facebook or Twitter, for example, we see a page as a content that we see loaded, and the template is like the structure or the skeleton that we can send props to, and then it'll render our content. And in this case, the template, it's the title and the button set and the two buttons. So this doesn't have any content, as you guys can see here. So this is only the structure. This doesn't have any logic as well, and this also this only have the logic for the model, but it's like the minimum thing. So we are not having any logic on the assets or anything in here. It's only the skeleton, and this can be reused and this can be reconfigurable with different items. If you see here, I shouldn't have these asserts and fails, but I am just creating a button set from the items that I received, and then the button set has its internal logic as well as the buttons and the model as well. So this is, to summarize, the template is just a skeleton or a template, as the name says, of the representation of our pages. And then we have the pages, and then in the pages we have all the logic and all the data that we are going to inject to our template, so we can draw and visualize the data. If you see here in this page, I have all the logic to get the items, to get the items randomly, to create the audio element, and also the logic to add the asserts and out the failed. So this is pretty much how we can structure our projects using atomic design, and it's really straightforward because we have now the structure of our components, and we can categorize our components by complexity, and also we have the pages and we have the template. So whenever, let's say, we want to create another page for another language, so we can just isolate the common things that we are going to have, like for example the add, assert, or failed, and we can only include in the page the creation of the audio. So everything else is going to be the same, and we just change the input that we are going to pass to the template, and we need to create another template, we need to create another component, etc., because everything else is going to be shared across the template. We are going to be injecting our template with the items that we have gotten from the logic for the specific language that we want or that we desire, and that's how we can scale our React applications following the atomic design. So if you have used atomic design with any other framework, feel free to comment in the comments, to add a comment. If you have any questions, add a comment. I will be posting the link for the repository of this project, so you can have a look, and also if you want to play with it. And also I'm going to be posting the link where you can see this project running, and the reference for the assets. Thanks so much for watching, and see you the next time.